This is it.
Right. Sure. Right. Yeah.
It is. It totally is. And it begins in 3, 2, 1. Coming up on TMS, cheese bread is good no matter what time of day it is.
They done blowed up that moose.
Give us your trash.
Hitler costume was not a hit.
Green beans will never be the same.
Making things with Bill and jury duty and more on this episode of The Morning Stream.
The marijuana user generally experiences an uncontrollable feeling of hilarity, quite without reason. He exhibits a marked carelessness. His senses and time perception are distorted.
Uh-oh. Almost washed your food down.
The Morning Stream. The Morning Stream. The Morning Stream. The Morning Stream. The Morning Stream.
The Morning Stream. I will feast on your soul.
The Morning Stream. The Morning Stream. The Morning Stream.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Morning Stream. This is TMS for Tuesday, October 30th, 2018. We call this BlizzCon Eve, Brian and
That's
I.
right.
Because we fly out
we
tomorrow.
call it Halloween Eve because really BlizzCon doesn't start till Friday.
That's a good point. Yeah,
But-
nothing happens
but our
really till
trip.
Friday, but our trip begins tomorrow. What time do you fly out anyway? I don't know if we've talked about this.
9 in the morning. 24 Earth hours from right now.
Oh, my Lord. That's
Yeah, I know. We're getting out there early. It was, I tend to pick lower priced flights and not really think about how early it means I have to get to the airport. But
and
then,
then-
I'm in California already and can drop off my bags with the concierge and go out and do fun stuff. So
it always makes me
Yeah.
nervous leaving my bags. I don't know why. I'm a
Yeah.
little nervous about that. Yeah. I always try to avoid it if I can. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And I've done it. Like when we went to Ohio, we had to leave at like 4 in the morning. And the hotel wasn't ready for us, so we had to leave stuff with them. And by the time we got there, and it was only a couple hours, but I just always feels weird. I just don't like it. It's got all my
It's
stuff.
not just you. I'm the same way. I prefer not to do it, but that $5 tip is an enticement for them not to help themselves to the the iPad in my bag.
do you get there at like 7 a.m. then for a 9 o'clock flight? You do the full 2-hour recommended
I do.
deal?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. So do we.
And I kind of look for it. It's the reward for that is that number one, you've got a little extra time. Denver International Airport is a busy airport. If I were in a smaller, my dad, we were talking about that. I said, so with the Burlington Airport, I said, how many gates does that have? He says 7 or 8 or something. Can't remember what he said.
Yeah.
I said, so you pretty much just get to the airport about half an hour before your flight? He's like, if that.
That sounds about right. I mean, when it's in a smaller place, in a town like that, Kim's old town in Mississippi, it was the same thing. You just don't have to worry about it as much. But here, yeah, you got to get up early, son. I got to get there. Tomorrow's not bad. It's like 11:45 it leaves, so we got to just get there at like 9:30 or something. But then the coming home, I think, is ridiculous. It's some kind of weird time because, you save money on you try to get the best flights you can and save the cash and...
So how late are you flying out? Or are you flying out early Sunday?
Sunday, no, we're actually staying longer because we always end up missing breakfast with people, and we don't want to do that this year. So we're staying a little longer, but I can't remember what. It's a weird time. It's not late or whatever, but it's just weird for us because usually we get home with like a whole Sunday ahead of us, and this time we're not. But it's because we don't want to just whip out of there while everyone's chilling and having breakfast with each other.
I've had to do that before where, everybody's saying, hey, you coming to breakfast with us at blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, no, our flight's in like an hour. I'm at the airport already.
Yeah.
But this year, we don't fly out till 7. So, yes, I will join you. Well, you haven't invited me, but I will join you for breakfast.
Like it's not a standing always invitation. Like you're not always one guy that show up.
I never want to assume.
Well, look, for those who have to leave early, you'll save yourself $30 for average buffet food. But for the rest of you, come on in. Anyway, we're gonna get down to it here today. We got our final show of the week this week, given this trip, and it's an exciting one. Action-packed. Jury will be here later. We'll also have Bill here as well. It's Tuesday.
Make way for Billy.
Yeah, make way for Billy, everybody. I do have a question, though. It's
Sure.
Speaking of breakfast, it's a breakfast question.
Okay.
It's not that different than the pizza question, whether or not pizza's okay for breakfast or not, and whether you
And
eat
I
it cold.
absolutely say that cold pizza is very good for breakfast.
I agree. In fact, I think cold pizza is better than heated up pizza for breakfast. And so you and I agree on that point. However, I would like to just take it one little step further and say, how do you feel about cheese bread? And cheese bread meaning like, like a flat bread covered in cheese. When you first got it, it's almost like a pizza without anything else. But it's just bread.
Is this one that you came with your pizza, or is it one you made yourself that morning?
It's one that came with pizza and was in the leftover thing, and then in the morning I went, ooh, cheese bread, and then ate cheese bread for breakfast.
Yeah, because that's not just cheese. That's not just bread and cheese. That is oil and garlic and Parmesan cheese and regular cheese and.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's basically, like I say, it's like pizza without the toppings, a little more garlicky. But how do you feel about that?
It's kind of. It's okay if we look at other breakfast equivalents, right? Toast is bread, so the bread part we're good there.
Toast is bread.
You usually in an omelet will have cheese, so cheese is considered a breakfast food. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I see your notes there. Toast is bread.
Yeah, it's a pretty good name. I'm going to suggest it for a title later. I think it's pretty good.
Actually, Lesarge beat you to it.
Oh, he
Toast
did.
is
Dang
bread.
it!
Yeah.
It's a good one. Sorry.
By the way, who looked at bread and said, I'm going to cook that again?
Yeah,
For toast, right? Like said, this bread is really good. What happens if you cook it more?
Oh, I never even thought about that. I've never thought about that till you just said it. It's twice cooked bread, isn't it?
It's twice cooked bread. Yeah.
Oh, I never thought of that. I always think of bread as that it's in some sort of raw form. It's not. It's well cooked past its raw form. Yeah. Now you're just going second layer cook. Oh my gosh, you're blowing my mind today. I never
and then
thought of that.
Cook it a third time. Oh, and then you get charcoal.
Never thought of that. That's crazy to think about. I don't know why that's so weird to me. Anyway, so
all the different things that are in cheesy bread are breakfast. I mean, it's kind of. I hate to bring up Bill Cosby, but I mean one of his great bits was talking about letting the kids have chocolate cake for breakfast because all right, it's got bread, or I mean it's got flour and eggs
and milk
and sure, chocolate cake is a breakfast food.
Sure, why not? By the way, I always like to remind people the whole Cosby thing. What part of what makes it more tragic? I mean, the most tragic thing is that he raped people. That's the tragic thing. But the second most tragic.
The top of the list.
Yeah, I put that right up there. But the second most tragic thing is that he was the real deal in terms of his comedy. Like, he was one of the greatest, the funniest guys ever. That makes it all the worse. You know what I mean?
It does. Yeah, right.
Ugh. Frustrates me. Anyway, here goes my childhood. So
that's all right. He's got his bits going in prison now.
Oh yeah, he's fine.
And by his bits, I mean he's somebody's bitch.
Ah, yes. Just be careful. I don't know what he would say. And then
take this for the Coca-Cola and the Jello pudding and the.
he's in jail, right? He's fully in jail now.
I don't know if is he in General Pop, Gen Pop? Is that the term? Gen Pop? Is he?
Let's see. Where is Cosby now? I'm gonna look it up. Let's see if there's photos or something.
Okay. Webcam, Cosby cam.
Cosby cam. Inmate NN7687.
Oh, really?
Yep. He says his first weekend he was in good spirits and takes calls daily from family. He will serve a minimum of 3 years, up to 10. He may get paroled. Bill Cosby actually gets Jell-O for dessert in prison. Oh, that's brutal if you think about it, isn't it?
It kind of is, yeah. I wonder if other inmates trade him for Jell-O. Like,
I'll give you this Coke for the Jell-O.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Yeah, he did Coke too, though, didn't he?
Salisbury steak with the pull apart bread for all your Jell-O for a week. Commissary.
He eats Jell-O brand Gen Pops. There you go. There's something. Anyway, he's in. They call this a deadly violent prison.
Oh, fabulous!
Yeah, it's in Philadelphia. Philadelphia, where he's from. That's
1 star on Yelp. This prison is deadly violent. Do not go.
There are no reports of prisoners welcoming Cosby by singing "It's a Different World Than Where You Come From." The prisoner officials say their long-term goal is to accommodate the 81-year-old and the general population. Although the vast majority of the SCI Phoenix cells are double occupancy. Does that mean he's by himself?
So he's got a roommate.
He must have a roommate, yeah. It's Theo! If his name was Theo. Let's see.
Might be Willis. Is Willis in jail right now? Can we get Willis and...
Is he still with us? He's still around, isn't
Cliff Huxtable...
I think Willis is still around. I think he's still
you know
around.
what? Now that I say that, I know Dana Plato passed away. And...
from Different Strokes.
Yeah, I think...
Oh, he did die.
Willis might be... I think Willis... Oh, Willis did die? Okay.
I think so. I don't know his real name. Did Willis...
He did.
From Different Strokes die? It says here... Todd Bridges, that's who it is. Yeah. Oh, yeah, died in 92? No.
Oh.
No. That's wrong. They've truncated the text. Hold on. Todd Bridges... Oh, maybe he's not.
Oh, no. 2012.
What did he die of?
No, Todd Bridges is alive.
Oh, yeah, he's still kicking. Look at him right here to present. Years active, 75 to present. He's with us. He's fine.
He's with
Willis
us.
is fine. What you talking about, Willis? And he would reply, I'm alive and well. That's what he'd say.
Now, Gary Coleman and Dana Plato.
Yeah, they died.
Passed away.
Coleman
Conrad
died
Bain
of
passed away.
Yeah.
Mrs. Garrett passed away.
Mrs. Garrett recently, right?
Like last year. No, this year. This year she passed away.
2018. Yeah.
Wow. All of a sudden, Todd Bridges is a person of interest. Sorry. Number one suspect.
The guy cannot catch a break, that poor Todd Bridges.
How's Abraham the Fish doing? Is Abraham the Fish still with us?
I forgot that was even a thing. I don't know how long they live, but I'll bet Abraham the Fish is dead. Probably.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Dana Plato stormed out of there one day in a drunken haze and ate the fish. I don't know.
Gobbled him up.
I don't know. But
and I'm taking the fish.
We're losing all
I'm
our...
going to go to a video game called Night Trap.
That barely a game. I would just
the 3DO is going to be huge.
Oh man, that's right. Didn't they put a version on the 3DO? Didn't they? I think they did.
They did. That's what I remember seeing it on. I didn't have a 3DO, but
it started on the Sega CD, and then
that's what it was. That's what it was. The Sega CD.
Platforms. I'm gonna find out though, because this is fun. I like googling with the chat room listening to us.
Yeah, exactly. It's listen to us Google
Here
on
we
the
go.
morning stream.
Originally Sega CD. They had an enhanced version for the 32X for the Sega platform. Then 3DO, then MS-DOS, Mac OS, Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4 has a version now, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch also have downloadable versions.
You could play Night Trap on the Nintendo Switch?
Yep. Fire that thing up and let it rip. Good stuff.
I'm done with Dead Cells. Time to play some Night Trap.
Yeah, forget about Dead Cells. Think of Night Trap and how much fun you could have there.
Exactly. Wow.
Got an email from Dean. This is the handsome older brother on the shows. No, it's not him. It's not
I thought it was Clark from Lois and Clark.
Oh, I could have been Dean Kane, yeah. Nope, it's a fan of the show named Dean. He gives no last name, and he says this. Dear Scott and Brian, to be honest, I am not super into scary movies. By the way, this is a response to you and I talking about...
Right, about our favorite Halloween movies.
Yeah, right before you left on your trip. He says, I was overly sensitive to scary stuff when I was young, and I was well into college before I could really stomach that kind of stuff. Here we go in no particular order. So here's the stuff he thinks we should include in our Halloween watching.
Okay.
Dawn of the Dead, the 2004 remake by Zack Snyder. He argues, in his opinion, is the only good movie Zack Snyder ever made. I agree that it's extremely well made. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Also,
I
you
still
get
like
the
Watchmen.
Yeah, Watchmen's good. No, I really like Watchmen. I was just going to say, I disagree with him because I think Watchmen's good, and I also think 300 is good. I think those two movies are great.
300. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that it's not quite fair to say all he ever made that was good was this remake, but, you know, he's had a rough time since some of those.
I mean, he's had more misses than hits, though. You know, Sucker Punch and...
Oof.
Oh, I guess he was a co-screenwriter for Sucker Punch.
He directed it, too, didn't he? I think he did.
Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
He probably did.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
He directed.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Yep. All right.
Yeah. So,
Anyway, I'm sorry, back to
and then his
this.
Superman stuff was dubious and blah, blah. However, he recommends that, and I do as well. It's really, really good. There's a montage in the middle of the movie with the tune of Richard Cheese's cover with Down with the Sickness. Did you know that, Brian?
I did know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then, what else is cool about that? Oh, the dad is Phil Dunphy, or the Phil Dunphy dad is in it, and he's a total bastard in this. He's a complete bastard in this.
This is the one basically in the shopping mall for part of it, right?
Yeah, almost all of it, yeah.
almost all of it.
Yeah.
And they're on the roof of said mall at the very end.
Yeah, or maybe
Looking across at the ammo store. Or
They were up and
something.
down. Yeah, and there was somebody in the
Yeah.
ammo store that was still alive, but then they kind of watched them slowly die over there or whatever.
I agree. I think that is actually one of the better zombie movies too, in my opinion.
I agree. Ving Rhames all up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Some interesting actors and stuff. Anyway, the bummer with that movie is that it's based on, probably the best George Romero zombie movie, and I don't think that one's very good, and I take a lot of heat for that. I don't think the Romero Dawn of the Dead is all that great. Everyone else thinks it's the best one he did, but kind of bugged by it. But I think this one's really good, so I agree with you there, Dean. He then says, Evil Dead 2, the first Evil Dead, really shows the promise of Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell's combination, but it has a student film budget and doesn't age well, in my opinion. Evil Dead 2, however, is a schlock masterpiece. I would say I agree with that, and also Army of Darkness was awesome, but Army of Darkness was almost just like a different movie.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we did watch Evil Dead I was going to say, did we watch Evil Dead for
2 or 1? I don't remember. We saw one of them.
I think we saw
Evil.
We saw 2.
2?
I've seen 2, and I've seen all 3. I've seen Army of Darkness and
Army of Darkness is so good.
Yeah, it really is.
It's really good. Let's see what we've done. I can tell you real quick. Film Sack.
I'm on filmsackstats.com.
Here it is. Oh. No, we haven't done Army of Darkness. Have we done...
We've done only Evil Dead 2.
Evil Dead 2, you're right. That was episode 205 back in June 1st of 2014.
Mm-hmm.
That was some time ago.
Crazy.
Yeah. So there's that. He then says, House on Haunted Hill. Says the movie's incredibly cheesy and not very scary by today's standards, but one of the things it has going for it is Vincent Price's stellar performance, plus the way people die in this are seriously hilarious. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, I have. I haven't seen that one, and I was confusing it with The Legend of Hell House, which we did watch also for Film Sack.
Oh, right.
Which is the audio clip. Hold on, I'm going to try to remember. Oh, yeah, it's shit. It's the woman with the slightly slowed down voice. Shit.
Oh, right. She was the possessed when she said it.
Possessed, yes, exactly.
I'm going to find it.
Giving me the shit.
Nope.
Very, very good bullshit.
Nope.
I like sub-commanders.
Nope.
You're nothing but a...
No.
You better get your head in your ass.
No.
Shit.
No.
I wonder what that...
No.
I think.
No.
I'm the doctor's.
No.
No one else.
No.
Why don't you astonish me, shitface?
I can't find it.
Shit!
Oh, were you just throwing coins in every time I do one?
Shit!
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. I found it.
There it is.
There it is.
Shit!
That is the best.
glad
Anyway,
you-
that was Legend of Hill House, not to be confused with the House on Haunted Hill.
I kept my camera
think
on you
I've
the whole
seen
time,
this.
by the way. Had that camera
What's
on, while you were doing the money and the jar. I had my camera on you the whole time. It was great.
Oh, nice. Good. Yeah.
It
Excellent.
was perfect. Made for a great moment. If you're not watching the show on video, that's what you're missing out on, folks. You got your Shadow of the Vampire.
Now, is that that's not the one with Nicolas Cage, is it?
No, that one is called...
No, Vampire's Kiss. is Nicolas
Yes,
Cage.
and I hear that's a must at some point. We
I
have
think
to do
so.
it.
It has to be. Yeah.
This one is says a lot of people categorize this as a psychological thriller, but whatever it is, I find it very spooky. This has an amazing performance by Willem Dafoe and John Malkovich, and by the time I got to the end, I was deeply unsettled by a different character than you originally think. How old is that? Shadow of the Vampire. He doesn't put a date on this one, whereas the other ones he does. Let's see. Shadow of the Vampire. So keep notes at home if you want to watch these movies. 2000 looks like.
All right.
2000. Yeah.
And by the way, Vampire's Kiss is on Amazon Prime, so we could throw it in. That is our secondary. Since Netflix is just so into putting their own stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's what they do.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh, here it is. Oh, this is that one where it's the Nosferatu filming.
Oh, right. Okay, yes, right. It's okay. Willem Dafoe, John Malkovich. Willem Dafoe is the actor, right?
Yeah, who plays
Malkovich is the director.
Right.
Yes.
I always meant to see this and never did.
I did too. Yeah.
Eddie Izzard's in this. Sweet. I like him. He's usually
That's
in a
from
dress.
2000, and it is available on Hoopla, Voodoo, and as somebody in the chat mentioned, Tubi TV or Tubi, or not Tubi TV.
Wait a minute. Is that a thing? That's a real thing.
Yeah, TUBI TV.
It's not Tubby.
Might be.
It's
Tubby Tubi.
Tubby Tubi?
Probably Tubi. Probably Tubi.
Yeah. I don't think you'd want to have your channel called Tubby TV.
No, I don't think you would. Hoopla.
Yeah.
That's funny, like, just watch. I think they make up things like, available on Hoopla, Schmengi.com, and Finkelstein.net.
Yep. These are all fake names. Actually, it seems like every day there's more of these dumb things. And they're all trying to squeeze
Max
in.
Shrek. Yes, thank you, Jeannie. That's right. That's who played Nosferatu.
In the original, though, right?
In the original. That's
Right,
who
right.
Willem Dafoe plays in this one.
So this is supposed to be like an accurate historical thing about it, or is this
sort of?
Okay.
No, it's not. It's because it claims that Shrek was an actual vampire and that it was the role he was born to play.
Oh, I see.
Or killed to play, undead to play.
Right. When you said Shrek was an actual vampire, all I thought it was Shrek the cartoon.
Well, no, I mean the actor's name is Max Shrek.
No, I know. That's why I'm saying when
Okay.
you say Shrek, it throws me
gotcha,
because
okay.
I think of that
Gotcha.
green orc or ogre, not orc.
Mm-hmm.
Dracula 1931. This is his final recommendation. It says back in the early days of cinema, film looked like stage plays and had a camera plopped in front of you. They were slow-paced and extremely dialogue-heavy. This is certainly the case with this movie. However, for good or ill, this movie set the groundwork for many horror movies to come, and had Bela Lugosi in it. So he recommends an old school one there. So thank you there, Dean, for your recommendations.
Good suggestions. And I'd forgotten about a couple of these, so I'm glad you recommended it. I texted you about this last night, and I've been posting about it on Twitter, but God, I am loving The Haunting of Hill House. So good. It's just... And I'm only halfway through. We just have watched the first 5 episodes, and I hear 6 is a...
Six is
a booger, but
incredible.
boy, the end of 5 is a booger.
It's a super booger, but 6 is incredible. 6 is called Two Storms, or The Tale of Two Storms, or something like that. They'd handle it. It's just a special episode, and I read up about it. The director talks about how it took like 200 days or something to get it right, and the cast. You'll know when you see it because there's like tons of unstopped tracking shots. In fact,
I love that.
I'm pretty sure the whole first half of the episode they never stop, and it's really good. That whole thing, everything
awesome.
about that show is good. My gosh,
It really is. And I found out fairly early on, like after the second episode, I was reading a little bit about it and found out about all the hidden ghosts in the backgrounds. Right, so when they're running around Hill House and they go walk down a hallway, you look over on the right and there's like a dude looks like Uncle Fester hanging out behind the door or something.
yeah. Or there's a lady just sitting on a bed, or
Yes, exactly.
whatever.
And now we're doing our best to not get distracted looking for the ghosts in the background while we pay attention to the dialogue and what's going on in the main.
yeah,
in the main
because
part.
there's definitely scenes in that show where they do long, protracted shots of dead space,
Yes.
like they're tempting you to look for something.
Yes.
And
they
it's
totally do.
really, really unsettling. Like, it gives me the freaking willies. But what makes
It
this
does.
show great, imagine how much you would not care about this movie, or this show, it's not like a movie, if you didn't care so much about everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
You really
No,
care for these people. Like, every one of them has something you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to take Luke with me. I want to raise him better. I want Theo to, I want her not to have this horrible curse Theo has with this
I know, but I
touching
do
thing.
want if there's anybody who needs a spin-off from this show, it's Theodora, man.
She's
I want
great.
the Theodora X-Files.
Oh my gosh, dude, where she could just go around and like solve crimes.
Yes.
I loved her whole episode that was dedicated to her. It was amazing. And those kid actors, holy shit.
Yeah, great.
They're so convincing and well cast. Like they look like the older versions of them.
They totally do.
Like young Shirley, it's old Shirley. It's
Right. Yeah.
so weird to me.
No, it's really, really good. And since we aren't going to have a Wednesday show, then that right there, that's our recommendal.
It's an interesting choice too, right? To jump from Henry Thomas as younger dad, 40s dad, and then jump to who's the actor's name?
Henry Thomas.
No, the other one, the old guy who plays him in the modern day.
I thought that was Henry Thomas.
Holy
wasn't it?
shit, did you really? That's hilarious.
I did, with makeup. It's not?
Did your 80s radar not go off and know who that was? That's hilarious.
It must not. I thought, like, I looked at him and I recognized him but I thought I recognized him as Henry Thomas. Holy
no,
crap! Who is it?
That's I can't remember his name all of a sudden. What's wrong with me? Timothy Hutton, dude, from the.
That's Timothy Hutton. Yeah. Oh crap! Of course it is.
And that, I was just gonna say how effective it was, but clearly it's very effective because Brian thought it was
incredibly
him.
effective. Because I swear to God, I thought everybody in the chat room's like, "Come on, Timothy Hutton, Timothy Hutton." I could have sworn that was Henry Thomas with makeup. That's hilarious.
Love that. I love that you thought that because I just think that shows how good it is. It's so well made and cast, and that transition just works for me. And they do it in a way that's like, well, hey, if we're gonna have the kids be totally different people, we may as well have the dad be totally different. But what if the mom, no matter how she appears in this, is always the same? I wonder if that has
Carla Gugino.
something to do with something later, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to give anything away, but
was there? Okay, so TP Andrew, are you the only one in here like me who thought that was Henry Thomas with a lot of like a lot of old makeup?
Yeah, it looks like you guys are alone.
I mean, I guess Hutton and Thomas do look a little bit alike. I can, I don't know. I feel like I'm really gonna work hard to justify this.
Well, now you'll see it, and now you'll never unsee it. Like
totally.
It'll be impossible. But
Sorry,
you know
Elliot.
what? You know what? 6. You may have done it by the time you got to episode 6. That may have been the one where you went, "Oh, okay, this isn't the same guy."
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because
big stuff happens with him in the next one.
Right.
Big stuff. In fact, it's basically his episode. Because you know how they all kind of have an episode? There's some where it's all everybody, but they have an episode. Like Theo had that whole episode that was basically about her. It's like that for everybody, including the dad.
Episode and the twin thing with
Oh, my heart breaks for the twins. That's what makes the show good, you guys. It's not about just being scared. That's part of it. It's not about supernatural, ghosty stuff, but that's part of it. But what really is there is this really core thing about family and connections, and that stuff is just really good in here.
It totally is. Characterization is just so key in this. And Sidian says, you don't see Timothy Hutton much until episode 6. That's when you do start seeing him. So you see him at Nellie's wedding and a little bit before that. So all right, I feel like I've got a little bit of vindication here because
you feel justified. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Hey, if that helps you sleep at night, Brian, it's totally fine with me.
And Jeannie asks, "What? You don't have IMDb open? You don't look at IMDb while you're watching something?"
Yeah.
I do if it's for FilmSack. Like if we're watching something for FilmSack, IMDb is all up in my face because I'm looking at the trivia, because they'll have stuff like, if you look in the background while Nicolas Cage is scratching his butt in the barroom scene, you'll see a young J.J. Abrams in the back corner. Something like that.
Yeah, we get that all the time on there.
Yeah, but no, I worry that, because here's why. Here's exactly why. Because IMDb sometimes will inadvertently have spoilers in the information. Like you'll see somebody, some actor's name, and then the characters that they play, and you say, "Oh, characters! Oh, they play both John and Fred the Killer." Oh, okay, well, good. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, or sometimes it'll say, if you read a little trivia, it'll say, when his character dies in such and such movie, and like, no, don't tell me that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet. I don't know if he dies or not.
Right. Exactly.
Anyway,
so,
I could
I
not
try and stay away from it if I can.
I could not be more in the recommendation pile though for this show, and I clearly don't even need to. It's a huge hit for Netflix. They
won't. They don't need any. They don't need any help. By the way, I did a tweet last night called "The Hunting of Full House."
Oh, I saw this. Did you do the Photoshop work on there? Was that you?
I did. Yeah.
Very nice.
I still have all the layers.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was fantastic. So yes, until we get a parody movie called "The Haunting of Full House," all bets are off.
Yes.
Nicely
done.
done.
Oh yeah. Octasco points out a great one. It'll say, "Oh yeah, so and so's character who appears in episodes 1 through 4." It's like, okay, well, good. I guess they die in episode 4.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe they just leave though. Maybe they're just temporary.
Sure.
You never know. But like that Asian girlfriend.
That's why I don't look at IMDb for something that I care about watching.
And don't you? I'm not to the end of the show yet, but don't you think the maid's something going on with that maid?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Annabeth Gish.
I don't trust that.
From
maid.
Mystic Pizza.
Yeah. I don't trust her. Something going on with the maid.
Yeah, no, definitely.
She's just. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. The Red Room. I'm not to the Red Room opening yet. I don't know anything about anything yet. But I'm getting there. I got like 2 episodes left, and I'm loving every second of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Free Rangers, you should do it. It's really good. All right.
Okay.
I think we...
let's do a show.
Yeah, let's do some news. It's news time. Hey, we're already doing the show. It's just news time now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. If I can find the intro. Here it is.
This is your radio newscaster with another exclusive, sensational summary of world and local events.
It's the news, brought to you by.
Brought to you by Coverville. There may not be a new Coverville this week, but you can still listen to me talking about music on a brand new episode of Soundography. I go under the spotlight for an episode of You Gotta Listen to This, where I make Hammond listen to a band probably not a lot of people know about, called Figures on a Beach, a Detroit band that really underappreciated, needs a lot more attention. They came out with a great album called Standing on Ceremony, and I made Hammond listen to it. Did he like it? Find out on the current episode of Soundography.
I wonder if Hammond liked it. I guess I'll have to listen to find out.
You'll have to listen. I'm not going to give you any
Okay.
any spoilers. You'll have to listen to it.
All right. I'll get right on that. Hey, they blew up a moose. This is fun news.
Hey, Rocky!
Watch me get blown up. Again? All right, here you go. They blew up a moose, worried about possible people-carnivore conflict. Bridger Tenton National Forest officials recently exploded a full-grown bull moose. Whose final...
It's the Tetons, man. You pronounce it Teton.
What'd I say? Grand...
Tetton?
Oh, I did say Bridger Tenton. Sorry, I've been to the Tetons. I know what's wrong with me.
You've been injured in an accident, come to the law firm of Bridger Tetton.
The Bridger Tetton law firm. We keep you in mind. So it's a moose that's not alive. They didn't blow up a live one. It was dead and was just like a big bloated, rotting moose carcass.
Did they not learn from that whale video that circulated around that was like filmed back in the 50s but was like an internet meme about 10 years ago?
Oh, the one that when they exploded it just rained down on that reporter?
It rained whale meat all over everybody.
Can you imagine how bad
all
that must
the
have
humanity!
been? That must have smelled like
Yeah.
the worst day anyone's ever had. It says here, the Wyoming Game and Fish Department personally received a report from a hiker that the moose carcass whereabouts was at the mouth of the Woods Canyon late last week. Thursday night, game warden Kyle Lash, that's cool, removed the head of the animal, which outwardly looked to be in good shape. The next morning, Game and Fish, how do you say that? Brucellosis?
Brucellosis.
Feed ground and habitat biologist Ben Wise examined the moose head and found a lot of carotid artery worms, which can cause blindness.
Yes.
Something like that.
Carotid. No, carotid shouldn't it be cartoid artery? No, I guess not.
Carotid.
Carotid artery.
Carotid?
Unless that's a
like beta carotene. Carotid.
yes, exactly.
Some of these words are familiar. Anyway,
that's why we don't read the news, people.
We just try to regurgitate it. The point is that if a person comes in contact with this thing, they could get these eye worms and they could go blind. So, yeah. And hikers.
Me and Natasha came across moose in middle of road. Was already dead when we got here.
Again. Is that streaming anywhere, by the way? The good old fashioned moose and
carotid
squirrel?
artery. Yes, there it is. Carotid artery. Thank you, Jeannie.
Wait, carotid. It doesn't say carotid in here, does it?
Huh?
Where does it say carotid in here?
The carotid artery.
Where does it say that? In the article.
The artery worms, the carotid artery worms.
Oh. Wait. What?
Third paragraph, carotid artery. Yes.
Oh, it is carotid.
Yes.
Gosh dang it. That one's easy. Why did we not
It should have been
get
for
that?
us.
Frick. Jeannie's like my mom right now. She's like my mom. No, that's carotid,
Time to
honey.
put on the glasses yet? Maybe it is. Let's put the glasses back on.
Good Lord.
Oh, wow. So much clearer
You
now.
can see them now. Are those prescription? They're not prescription, are they?
They're not, no.
Oh, okay.
No.
What
They just make everything yellow. Actually, I do have they're not really prescription either. These were $3.99 at a Michael's, but they do help me see things close up.
Oh, yeah, they're readers, right?
This is my De Niro. You got to make a De Niro face when you put them on.
Yeah, they're readers. Readers are good.
Readers,
It's
yes.
good to have those handy in case you got to read a tiny bit of text,
Exactly.
no matter how your eyes are.
But I can't read any of that. I can't see the chat room. I can see my microphone, like excruciating detail. And boy, does it need to be cleaned.
Yeah, you see all the particles that have built up over time.
Exactly.
Carotid worms that are in there.
Carotid.
All right.
In the tetons. Sorry, yes.
The other day we had a story about a kid, the teacher dressed up as Hitler. Well, now we got another Hitler story. It's a brand new
it's a
Hitler
dude
story.
who, it was the guy who wanted to be called Heil Hitler in court, right?
That's a third Hitler reference. Yeah, no, we've had
wow. So,
two
was there a Hitler
costumes,
story while I was
two
gone?
costumes, and then the KKK guy that wanted to be called High Hitler.
That's right. Hi
Yeah.
Hitler. That's right.
Because he didn't know it was Heil. He's an idiot.
Oh, hi, Hitler.
Oh, hi. So here's how this went. A man who dressed his child as Hitler is now complaining of ill treatment at a family party. Oh, I feel so bad for you. You dressed your kid up like Hitler. Also, it doesn't say this in the headline,
Got
but
treated badly.
he dressed up like a Nazi to go with the kid, like a little pair there, and now he's complaining he got in trouble. So here's how this worked. An Owensboro, Kentucky man. He's feeling the online pain today, complaining about how he was received when his 5-year-old son went to a Halloween event dressed as Nazis, or he and his son went dressed as Nazis. Brian Goldbach took to social media to protest after his family attended the Trail of Treats in Owensboro Thursday night. He posted a photograph of himself and his son, in which he wore what looked like a Nazi officer's uniform, and the boy wore a suit, swastika armband, and a Hitler-style mustache. The kid was basically Hitler. I don't know why they have to describe it. Dressed like Hitler. We know what that is.
Exactly. Had a small mustache and hair parted way up on his forehead.
Yeah. Why just say he was dressed like Hitler? He says this tonight.
Somebody's going to say, I don't know, looks like Charlie Chaplin to me.
He says tonight, grown adults threatened a child over his costume. Threatened his mom and dad as well, he wrote. Threatened to rip his outfit off him and screaming obscenities. Scaring a small child. So don't go as Nazis, you dipshit.
Yeah, exactly. And they shouldn't threaten the child. It's really all on the parents for doing this. He's 5 years old. He's like,
yeah, but if you take your kid to a party dressed as Hitler, I feel like all bets are off. Like you're gonna get heat for that. You may not.
No, you should get heat. But I'm saying it's the parent. Like the 5-year-old kid doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know. Yeah, it's the parent dressed him up like that, and
he didn't come home the other day from school going, "Mom, I have to be Hitler this year, please. I have to be him." Like that didn't happen.
Exactly.
So
now, if he was Jules Verne Hitler, like if he was steampunk Hitler, that's something else.
Yeah, steampunk Hitler, no problem. Alternate history Hitler is what we're talking about.
Exactly. Jeez.
He said he and his family love history and often dress the part of historical figures. Come on, dude. I don't buy that.
Oh, yes. We're just making the rounds of historical figures. This year just turned out to be Hitler.
Yeah, it's a Hitler year.
Yeah.
I don't buy that at all. Something about that seems
Where can I get a big long beard for my Osama bin Laden outfit next year?
Doesn't seem true to me. I don't think I buy it. All right, if you're going to Istanbul, not Constantinople. Okay.
No.
Istanbul.
No.
They used to be called that.
Not Constantinople anymore.
Yeah. They have vending machines now that offer subway credit, so you can use the subway and stuff, public transit, for recycled bottles and cans. Now, you'd think, well,
this doesn't get you a foot-long sub, right? It gets you a ride on the subway.
It does.
Okay.
It absolutely does. But here's what's interesting about it. Instead of you putting money in the subway thing or running your credit card through something, instead you jam your bottles and your cans into a hole, and it goes shling, 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 and says, you have $1 worth of travel credits. You can now do what you got to do, which seems like a pretty cool idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if people are showing up with like armloads and a cart full of stuff and they, and that's how they do it, or if you just show up with a bottle or two or what. But the city is installing what they call reverse vending machines. It's where you put your cans back in it. You do this simply by adding credit to your subway cards by inserting plastic bottles or aluminum cans into the machine. Or apparently now MacBooks, all the MacBooks are all 100% recycled
They're all made
aluminum.
from recycled aluminum.
Once a value has been assigned to the recyclables, the machine will crush, shred, and sort the material. The initiative aims to encourage recycling in the city of more than 15 million people, where recycling practices are scant or indifferent.
God, this reminds me so much of 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when instead of taking your recycling or having your recycling get picked up along with the trash, you had to go to these structures that were in grocery store parking lots.
Oh, right.
and you'd take all your bags of cans and stuff, and it would just be cans. There was no paper bottles or anything like that. And you'd feed them down a little hole. Basically, they could only go single file. You had to you dump all your cans into this little hole. It basically was Coinstar with a giant size Coinstar with aluminum cans.
Yeah.
And every couple minutes after shoving all these cans in there, there'd be a little tink of a quarter getting dropped into a...
Yeah, no, I think what you're describing is probably what they're doing. And it just seems like news. It probably just seems like news because no one's thought about it for a long time or something, or nobody knew we were doing that here. Because I remember these as a kid too.
Totally.
Like that was
the
a thing
golden goat, I think, is what they were branded out here. Golden goats. And then they would eat your cans like a goat.
So today we have recycle pickup and we have garbage pickup.
Yeah.
But they don't take bottles for the recycling. And so,
oh, really? Glass? Really? You can't?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but they don't take it with that. So instead, they have this giant, permanent, like a not a dumpster. It's like something else, like a great big unit thing that's like over in the community area thing. And you're supposed to go over there and put your bottles in there, which we do. So what we do is they'll pile up for a while because we don't really use that many bottles. And once we've got enough that it makes sense to go over there, Nick and I go over there, and the goal is to throw them into the hole so hard to see who can get the biggest shatter out of doing that, right?
How big is the hole? Like, is this is this a carnival game kind of thing?
It's about like this. So it's about the size of a let's just say a small microwave hole that's square.
Nice.
And what you're supposed to do is just, drop them in. And you can see the other bottles in there. You can see them all accumulating in there. But Nick and I will stand back, take turns, and just hurl them as hard as we can. The problem is...
Step right up. 3 shots for $1.
Well, the problem is sometimes you'll throw bad and you'll shatter it on the edge or something. And I did one where it just shattered everywhere and like all on the outside. So I had to clean it up. But
oh, no.
Yeah. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine. I was happy to clean it up. But then they have a big truck come once a month, take it away, and take that wherever I think it's supposed to go.
I mean, by shattering it, you're kind of saving, you're increasing the number of bottles that can fit in there because there isn't the inside air space of the bottle that can't be breached. By breaking it up, you're allowing for more bottles to fit in that container. So I think you're really doing the community a service.
I'm doing a public service for my community. That's what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and just assume that that's always true when I break a bottle and jack things up. Final story today.
Yes.
Do you like? All right. Brian, give me your favorite Thanksgiving food and then your least favorite Thanksgiving food.
Favorite Thanksgiving food. It's gravy a food?
Yeah. No, gravy's all right. Yeah.
No, I would say the turkey is my favorite part. I would do. I would love a turkey meal. It doesn't even have to be with all the other accoutrements that go with it. Just the a delicious baked bird, baked turkey, 4 times a year, like quarterly. Give me a quarterly turkey dinner.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind some form of turkey meal every week. Just something like a turkey sandwich or a good turkey.
Exactly. Well, it's good for you,
or whatever.
Especially if it's the turkey breast. That's the best part.
Yep.
Least favorite. Are you familiar with tomato aspic?
No, aspic. No.
Aspic.
I don't know what that is.
It is imagine Jell-O.
Yeah.
But not made with a flavored like cherry or a grape
terrible.
or just basically a gelatin with tomato. And then like olives or chunks of peppers or things like that wedged in there. Like if you look online at ASPIC.
Yeah, it looks like a bundt cake. But
it's meat. Okay, it's meat stock. So it's a gelatin made with meat stock set in a mold and used to contain pieces of meat, seafood, and eggs.
No, I don't want that at all. I've never had this in my life. Do you have this on the regular?
I've had this once with the Thanksgiving meal. Like, somebody's grandmother. Oh, I made delicious tomato aspic, and I said, oh, great, I'll totally try this.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you want gelatinous tomato soup? This is tomato soup, and you just put it in a Jell-O mold and added unflavored gelatin powder to it.
Yeah, this is a 70s meal recipe, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They only made these in the 70s. You would eat this while you read a Sears catalog with bell bottoms in it.
Exactly, yes. So that's my least favorite thing I've ever eaten on Thanksgiving. How about you?
Okay, when I was growing up as a kid, if you asked me, I would have said the bean casserole. But now I love it. I think it's really good. And so if I had to pick one as an adult that I don't like I like cranberry sauce, but I don't like it when it comes in the can and it's in the shape of a ring of a can. I don't like
no
that.
No problem with that.
Ugh, I
got
can't.
no problem with a ring of cranberry.
It just feels like I'm breaking
a little
some
circle
law.
of cranberry Jello, basically. It is funny because that's basically cranberry aspic.
No, it is, right? It totally is.
Kind of is. I mean, it's a gelatinous mold shape, and
yeah. No, you're not wrong. But today, these days, I'm happy to have a green bean casserole, especially if it's prepared the way my wife does. It's fan-freaking-tastic. Well, I have some bad, sad news. The woman who created the green bean casserole, the inventor of said dish, has passed away.
Aww.
Across dinner tables in America, the green bean casserole is a Thanksgiving staple and has been for years. 1 month before the casserole's customary time to shine, the woman who created it has passed away at the ripe old age of 92. Her name was, and I'm not kidding, Dorcas.
Is it pronounced Dorcas or Dorcas?
Did we talk about this last week when Kim was on? We might have.
I don't know.
think I talked about it, but I didn't read the story. I think I just told her I heard about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do the full story, though.
And how is it pronounced? I mean, did you?
It is Dorcas. Dorcas Riley.
It is really Dorcas.
Yeah. She's she died of Alzheimer's disease. It's kind of a bummer. We we totally talked about it last week, but I didn't read the story. Like I didn't go full on to the story.
It's actually D-A-W, like you pronounce the D-O-R as D-A-W-R, so Darkus.
Oh, Darkus?
That doesn't make it a whole lot better that it's...
oh, yeah, you know what? I did read this part about... so she got the highest rating at Campbell's internal testing for like something weird to do with a soup can, because you use the mushroom soup, right?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, so she did that. Yeah, we talked about this a lot. I think what I meant to do last week was...
I don't know what I'm going to take to her wake.
Yeah, I know.
What are you bringing?
Funeral... just to offend everybody, take funeral potatoes, because she didn't invent those.
Right.
Who invented those, though? Because funeral potatoes...
Yeah, just whoever invented it really needed to pick a different name, though.
Well, other than funeral potatoes?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's see.
Because when you other meals like green bean casserole, you know what's in it. It's a casserole made from green beans.
This is a good point.
It's not potatoes made from funerals.
That's a good point, which is good. I'm glad that that's the case. So I'm looking at the Wikipedia article here. It says, let's see, a traditional hot potato dish. Or casseroles popular in the American Intermountain West and Midwest. People of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, hey, we know those people, call it funeral potatoes. Really? Did we name it that? No way. A bunch of Utah Mormons named it that?
Look at that. Now we know who's responsible.
Interesting. Served commonly as a side dish at traditional after-funeral dinners, such as those planned by members of the Relief Society, which is like a lady organization in the church. But the dish is also served at other church dinners, both within and without the church, such as holiday dinners, such as potlucks and other social gatherings. I did not know we had a Utah connection here. Had
And
no
that's
idea.
The problem.
No
that's
idea.
Totally the problem is that if it was only ever served at funerals, then I guess I could say, okay, I guess, funeral potatoes. It does make sense.
Sure.
It checks out. Totally checks out.
Yeah.
But
other things, it's like, no, why? Okay, stop calling it funeral potatoes. Call it something else.
Exactly.
In popular culture, it says during the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, which I remember well, one of the souvenir food pins featured a depiction of funeral potatoes. Funeral potatoes are mentioned in Molly Harper's Nice Girl and Half Moon Hollow book series as traditional Southern cuisine. So there you go. I love them, though. Oh, my gosh, they're good.
Okay.
Have you never had a good funeral potato?
I don't think I have. I don't think I actually have had funeral potatoes, but I might have had them and just not known that they were called funeral potatoes.
Here's your main ingredients: hash browns or cubed potatoes, cheese, usually cheddar or Parmesan or both.
Okay.
Onions,
like everything so far I like.
Onions, cream soup, chicken, mushroom, or celery. Doesn't matter. Or you can use cream sauce, sour cream, butter, cornflakes, or crushed potato chips. Now, those last two sound weird, cornflakes and potato chips, but they really do add texture to it.
It doesn't sound weird at all because we actually sprinkle crushed up potato chips on top of green bean casserole. So
right, and I could destroy an entire tray of this. Like,
yeah, that's how I like potatoes. I like them as hash browns. I like little shreds, and I like them crispy.
Yeah. In this case, just covered in hot, gooey cheese and.
No kidding. All right, you kind of sold me on funeral potatoes.
Sounds really good. Jeannie says all casseroles are disgusting.
There is no partial overlap on that Venn diagram. It is one circle contained within, like the little circle of casserole is contained entirely within the big circles of disgusting.
Yeah, and Jeannie's in the circle, standing there in the circle.
With her arms folded.
Yeah, just not having it. I mean, there's got to be a good... Someone makes a good casserole, right? Somebody does.
So Jeannie is basically saying, good riddance, Dorcas.
Yeah. Goodbye, Dorcas. Your bean thing sucks. Actually, I really like it, and sad to see her go. But 92 is nice ripe old age, so well done on that.
Yes, exactly.
We're going to take a break. When we come back from this song break, we will spend a little time with our friends Bill and Justin. So come on back right after this. Before all that, though, a song prepared for and with and by Brian Ibbett.
Well, yes. This is coming to us from Spokane in Washington. A guy named Jared Fink, but it's not spelled like you think it would be spelled. It's Jerad, so flip around the vowels, Finck. So Jared Fink, you can find him at jaredfink.com. He's been influenced by like groups like One Republic. This definitely has a kind of a cool new pop sound to it. He's a singer-songwriter and producer, just basically hell-bent on producing great music. Here is the brand new track from Jared Fink. It's called New Kids. This is the Sea Waves